So Alex, we're going to do the Soothsaying. We're going to do Soothsaying November 13th, 2019. Going to shuffle the cards here a bit. We're going to pull from the classic Right-Away Tarot deck. I've been using this deck more the past 3 months. I wasn't making daily Soothsaying videos, but I wanted to try my hand in it. It's it's a really cool concept. It's a really cool endeavor, doing Soothsaying. Especially coming up with your own meanings and things of that nature. Sort of lends towards the concept of Soothsaying, I feel, in a certain context, for what's acceptable. Obviously, for what's acceptable. The Sun is pulled, and then the Emperor. So I think of a certain kind of judgment, a certain kind of mediation, a mediator in regards to the Sun. There is a spirit in regards to the Sun. It's a living being in the ways that Mates for God's indicated. So when you're sort of pulling certain cards, you're like, what does this pertain to? What sort of situation would it be the Sun and then the Emperor? Is there like a play on the light and the powerful? I think there might be some of that. So light existences, light afterlife. Then you think of power, you think of the Emperor, you think of leadership. I also think of Gauntlet. But sometimes when I pull this, certain cards like the World, the Sun, sometimes I'm looking at, some of the spiritual happening around, those sort of those sort of areas. And for Earth-based, soul, solar system, a star, you got the World. I think of Earth, the Moon, Luna. There's a bit of a carefree vibe in regards to some of the depictions pertaining to the Sun. Someone's just like having fun on a horse in sunflower crop. Then we got the Emperor, who's looking debonair. So and the next card we pull is the Moon, and at times this card does remind me of the Sun, but it is reversed. And on the table, it kind of looks to be like a bit of a symbolism. You can see. Well, alrighty. So, got the Sun, you got the Emperor, you got reversed the Moon, and I kind of want to see the booklet on this. From the Moon, I think of healing energies. I think of the Sun, I think of rejuvenation, I think of energy. Again, we can talk about power in regards to the Emperor. What sort of situation would that be? I know there's some guides are advocating for the Earth-based Soothsaying. That's for guides and others for guides pertaining to November 13th, 2019, to be displayed by Waves for Gods Negated, if need be. So then we got reversed Four of Wands. Pulled. So, Moon, what do we say? What does the Moon say? I think we're going to pull a card here for Earth as well after this next pull. I see the Sun, I see the Moon. Why not? What does the world have to say? So the cards, you got the Emperor, you got stability and power, protection, a great person, conviction, and reason. You have the Sun, material happiness, fortunate, marriage, contentment. So content, protection, and then we got the Moon, which reversed also speaks of instability, inconsistency, silence, lesser degrees of deception and error. So it's almost contrasting with what what the Emperor speaks of at times, which is a certain kind of stability and strength. We also got reverse Four of Wands. First, the meaning remains unaltered. Increased felicity, beauty, and embellishment. For what's almost on the surface, country life, repose, concord, harmony, prosperity, peace, and the perfected work of these. The meaning remains unaltered. Increase felicity, beauty, and embellishment. So it says more. I happen to agree. It does speak of the rays of the sun. You can see the yellow there. But I think there are some who probably do view it as maybe the opposite of prosperity and that sort of thing. And in that sort of regard, there is a bit of a synergy pertaining to the sun, sun happiness. And Four of Wands being prosperity, an oasis. You reverse that. There's a bit of a contrast with the sun. So these two cards here next pull, they reverse the moon and reversed Four of Wands, contrasting with the sun and the Emperor card. One speaks of consistency, one speaks of inconsistency, but also instability and stability as well too. So a bit of dualities here. After this one, we got Two of Pentacles, choice, decision, indecision as well. Jokester. I think of a joker, jester. I think a jester. Maybe not set in stone this time as well. And the World speaks in regards to the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords. Let's take a look. So what sort of situation is emerging here upon these cards unfolding? Maybe someone who's happy, someone who's stable, and maybe inconsistent, or maybe he has a reversed side, maybe a two-face, something of that nature. Again, we got the duality card popping up here. So again, which one which? Do we talk about? Are we talking about drama, comedy, and tragedy? Well, okay. And this last card here, well, interestingly enough, comedy. We kind of got a comedy element here, and then we also got a bit of a despairing element here. So again, I think of sure-footed. I think of sight, though. It does look like she's blindfolded and wounded, but she does look like she knows what she's seeing. Let's see. Swords. That's what's happening here. You know why? Because that is kind of how it felt a bit. A bit. It's funny how that works. True to a certain degree for some of it. Eight of Swords. So yeah, bad news, violent, chagrin, crisis, censure, barren, trammels, conflict, calamity, or calamity. Also sickness. So speaking maybe into regards to some of the disparities taking place to a certain degree, it does remind a bit of tragedy. I don't think it's the only meaning. I think there's multiple meanings. What would there's a good situation, a stable situation, and then we have something that speaks of, well, the reverse of that to a certain degree. We have decisions, two decisions, well, that sort of card, again, Two of Pentacles. And then we also have disparities. So, yeah, I wonder what that means. Maybe there's a certain kind of thing where there's stability, there's safety, there's protection, there's happiness, there's contentment. But then there's also the opposite in regards to that. What directions can we choose in regards to where there's not going to be any disparities, where there's not going to be anyone harmed, where there's not going to be anyone hurt? And what does that look like, and why can't we do that? That question remains. Have we tangled ourselves to such a degree where we can't go certain directions like that? Is it late? What are some of the other, what's some of what's the other ones? Because there's that sort of thing. It's like, oh, we're going to talk about way up above, but a big line that's been talked about forever. What are some of the smaller ones in a certain context? Which ones should we bring up right now that that we should bring up? Yeah, I think that's going to be it. That's what Soothsaying for November 13th, 2019.